Hi, we're getting ready for our second concert of the 2020 season. Grace Pettis is coming on April 18th, and so I'm making this video to do 4 things. To remind you to put it on your calendar, to tell you how it's going to go. We learned some things from the last concert. To make a request for volunteers to do an experiment to stress test the plans we have. That experiment is this Saturday at 7 o'clock Mountain Time. For 15 minutes is all I need. The concert's the following Saturday. And then also let you tell me if you want some rum cake. I got people who won raffles for rum cake but chose to distance and said, let me take a rain check. Why don't you come over for coffee after this is all over and bring your rum cake? And I'm happy and excited to do that. But in the meantime, rather than call a bunch of people, if you want some rum cake from me, tell me. I put one of the 2 I made in the freezer. I ate the other one. I don't want to eat a whole other rum cake this time, so help me out. Grace is phenomenal. I am super excited that we're hosting her for a show. I am more than a little sad that it won't be in real time, but we're going to do what we can to keep showing up for our artists. We need them now more than ever. I'm sure you're experiencing, while you're holed up in your Corona cave, that you're going through a lot of art, that you're streaming movies and music around you. And in case you didn't know, the musicians just aren't getting anything from the streaming services, not from Apple, not from Amazon Music, not from Spotify. And some of the musicians, if you want to testify to that with comments in this video down below, go for it. Educate people. And so I have a suggestion about that. But the first thing is, let's just keep showing up for our artists. We'll have virtual concerts until we can do real ones again. And so please join me with that. The suggested donation is half what it normally is for a live show, which means we need twice as many of your friends to show up. That shouldn't be hard to do, because for those who've come to concerts here in Colorado, I know that you want to share them with your friends on the East Coast or in California or wherever they are in Europe. We had a lot of great participation in the last concert. It turns out we were coinciding also with the first weekend of a lockdown in Albuquerque, and we probably were competing with a lot of Netflix streaming and other things like that, and it just got in our way and interfered. So we have a plan for that, and I'll describe that. I want to say a little about Grace. Just super excited to have Grace. She was recently signed for a multi-record deal with Impress Records. She just had a surprise write-up in American Songwriter about a really touching song titled Landon. I will post a link for that piece, and it's just true to one of the reasons I'm really excited about her. Not only does she have a very emotive and powerful voice and does damn good guitar work, but the subjects that she chooses and the punches she doesn't hold back in her lyrics are really powerful. And so this particular song is, I think we have all had that experience where, we wish we could get in a time machine and go back and help our younger selves make wiser choices. And when we grow into deciding who we are, and we're not being told by society and not being told by the church, and then can show up better for our friends. So I encourage you to read that link. And also come out and support Grace. And then when we can get her live here, come to that show for the people who can make it there. So with regard to our plans and the experiences that we had, trust me, Justin and I did plenty of experiments with YouTube live streaming so that we were convinced we were going to give you a good experience. And then it just all kind of crashed and burned. When he saw the video that was resulted, he immediately took it offline, re-recorded the show, and sent out unlisted YouTube links out to folks who paid for that concert. So if you haven't gotten that from me, it's probably because I only know the email address associated with your PayPal account, and sometimes people forget what that email address is, or They just never check it because it's some old Yahoo account or something like that. So if you're learning about this from this video, reach out to me at joe@littletreeacoustic.com or in the comments here, and I'll make sure you get what you paid for. Justin re-recorded at 1080p with good sound. He had stories about the songs. And it's all there and waiting for you if you haven't seen it. So what we're going to do for this show is we're going to pre-record it as if you can imagine it's like a show in a big venue. But what we're going to do to allow for interaction with the artists is Grace will be there at the time, which is April 18th at 8 p.m. when we're showing the pre-recording. And she can respond to your comments and interact with you in real time. I'll be there too. And so we'll just share the event that way, make sure we preserve the best quality sound and video we can in that way. That's the plan. I know I already said something about doing an experiment. If you want to volunteer, I need about 100 people is what I'd like to do a test for this Saturday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time for 15 minutes. Let me know, again, by sending me email, joe@littletreeacoustic.com, or comment here, and we'll line you up for that. Also, if you want some rum cake, tell me. Let's say 8 people. I'll give a quarter of a cake to 8 people. I'll have 2 cakes. And then the last thing I want to say is thank you for continuing to support our artists. I so appreciate the people who showed up last time. I know the artists do and will continue. And they've had a lot of the musician friends I know have had a lot of gigs canceled, and you see them adapting. And so I want to encourage you to first go figure out what your streaming service budget is, $20, $30 a month, whatever it is. And I would strongly encourage you to double that and put that second half in the pockets of musicians through subscription services. I'm dead serious about this. Please don't just hear this as a pretty idea or a nice idea. It's a practical idea because they're not making any money on the streaming services, and they need us to support them if we really want their art in the world. And we don't want to be wondering 10 years from now, why aren't there any new songs? Why isn't Carter Garvey writing songs? Why is he out in his woodshed making tables? Or what have you. It would just be a crime to lose people because we haven't adapted to changing circumstance. And if you subscribe to somebody's Patreon account, you get absolute VIP treatment of the artists that I know. You'll get pre-releases of songs. You'll have concerts that only Patreon subscribers support. So we have a list of all of the artists who have ever played at Little Tree at littletreeacoustic.com. I'm going to start putting links to their subscription services, and if they don't have them, we'll figure out a way that you can use Little Tree to funnel money to them. And it makes a difference, if you do the math. A few hundred people, all of these artists have 5,000 Facebook friends. 1,000 Patreons at $10 a month is, that'll guarantee that art will be there for you if you do that. So please get April 18th on your calendar, and please let me know if you want to participate in an experiment so we can make sure we have a flawless show on the 18th. That experiment is this Saturday. What is that? The 11th, 7 p.m. Mountain Time for 15 minutes. Thank you, people. All right.